Thanks, guys, for. Yep, thank you. Got it. Right. So, thank you for joining today. Nice to see most of you back already. I hope you really enjoyed last week. It was so much fun for us, guys. We were so excited to come back this week because this week it's going to be more hard work. So, you guys had homework to do. So, I'm hoping that this week would help you guys a lot regarding recruitment and the work side of the UK, really. So on Friday, I told you guys to get your CVs ready. So I hope you guys have got that ready because we are going to be breaking that down throughout the week. And hopefully at the end of it, you can see the difference between your first CV that you had and what you hopefully should end up with, and see if there was anything that you changed or you're looking at differently. That is the main aim, to have a good CV for the UK to potentially secure you guys interviews, or if you are already coming to the UK, get you that job while you're in the UK. So I'm just going to tell you guys roughly what we're doing this week, because we do alter it on occasions in the fact that we want to ensure that we meet the needs of you all. So we do add things to our presentations, really. But at the moment, this is what we're looking to do. So today we're looking to do a format of a UK CV and how to secure jobs and interviews, like looking at a CV through that way. We are going to cover interviews and jobs a bit more throughout the week as well. We're going to talk briefly about the social media implications and how it can either benefit your job hunt and your recruitment, or how it can detriment your job and the recruitment. We're also going to talk about the immigration rules. We're not going to go over it in detail because we're not immigration lawyers, but we want to tell you guys the different rules, because I'm sure some of you are looking at just the UK. Some of you might be looking at other countries like Canada, USA, Australia, and maybe Europe as well. So you can see the difference in what the UK is offering for you guys to potentially come on this route. And we're also going to have what to add to your CV and some tips going forward. Then tomorrow will be Harsha's job. Harsha, do you want to explain it? Can you see?
Yeah. So we speak about spotting like fake jobs and fake job agencies, because there are lots of scams going around in the world at the moment. So because we are doing lots of videos as well about just to protect people, because these fake jobs are charging people a lot of money. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and then how to behave at work and an interview. And then I know Sophie's going to talk about what to put in a CV today, but I'm just going to show you some examples that we received and talk about what not to put on a CV to stand out in an application process.
Thank you, Harsha. And then Wednesday, we're back to myself. So I'm looking at, if you do get a job in the UK, what the contracts are looking like, what type of contracts you should be getting as well, depending on your job, and how to potentially negotiate stuff on your contract and what you can negotiate. I'll tell you a bit of the rules. So certain things that you have to get as if you're working in the UK, there's certain things that you have to meet. I'm also going to go over your benefits that you potentially can get, any pension that you can get regarding work, and I would go over non-work related pension and benefits as well. And I'm going to also talk about your tax and your VAT. Now your VAT will be for, obviously, not like if you've got your own business, I can talk about it in that respect, and I can talk about it in regards to just generally VAT outside of in the UK. Tax is going to be about what taxes you pay, and mainly your wage slips and how it's broken down, so you understand how the tax in the UK works. Tax is a massive thing, like it's really, really in depth, so I'm not going to go through it in detail. I'm not a tax man. I just want to give you the basic overview so you understand and don't get done over with your tax, because that's a big thing in the UK. Modern slavery is a really big law in the UK regarding work, because a lot of people are getting scammed or not paid properly. So we want to talk about modern day slavery and wages in the UK, which is gone big for the last few years. Going off the week, we want to talk about interview techniques and your responses. So I'm going to do some scenario-based stuff where I would ask you guys some interview questions, some real interview questions that generically come up. And I want to see what kind of responses you've got and talk through how you should respond and how to conduct an interview really. And we're going to talk about we've talked about the CV. We want to talk about a covering letter and how you should do a covering letter with the CV and what to include in that as well. Then Thursday, wishful thinking. Thursday's back to Harsha.
Yeah, on Thursday, we are going to discuss how to look for jobs and apply for them online mainly. And then if you are in the country, we're going to discuss how to apply if you're in the country. And then the laws, we're going to talk about the laws again as well, about sexual identities and harassment or bullying or whatever that could happen at work and what you could do if that happens, or if you see that happen to somebody else. And then go through CVs and letters. I know we talk about CVs and letters quite a lot because that's quite important. So yeah, so we thought we'd spread it quite throughout the whole week. That's okay. Yeah, so that's Thursday.
Yeah. And then Friday, we're going to have some work scenarios. I'm going to give you some scenarios from the whole week of things that could potentially happen in a workplace. And like, hopefully from everything that you've picked up through the week, you should be able to answer that competently and how we can go through stuff that might arise. We also want to talk about how to start a business in the UK because a lot of you are very smart. You know, can you come to the UK and can you set up a business? And if you did set up a business, how to go about it in the UK, and if you want to do it legally, because some of you might come as a main applicant, some of you might get indefinite leave to remain, and some of you might come as a dependent. So setting up a business is a good aspect to setting up in the UK at this moment, especially with quite a few different business visas going on as well. Then we're looking to wrap up the whole session from the whole 2 weeks and see if there's anything that you guys were unsure about for the 2 weeks that you guys want to ask, and make sure you guys are fully happy with, like, I want you guys to walk away basically being happy that everything has been answered, or as much as we can. And if you have any time during the week, just some little things that you guys ask for, we normally would have put it in the first week, but we just didn't have the time. Just for Samuel, we're doing dating in the UK, woo, right? We're going to cover some sports. Joy, ask for some sports. We're going to cover some insurance, like what kind of insurances you can get in the UK regarding cars, life insurance, and anything else that might benefit you guys. Any other tips that we got for you in the UK that we think that might benefit you, and the banking system in the UK and how to get a bank account either from abroad or while you're here, and the MP and Parliament, very important aspect of the UK and how that little structure works. So if we get a chance, we're going to try and slot them stuff in. Not usually, like I said, something we do this week, but it's just something that we think that we can try and do for you guys. Is there any questions about anything so far? Are you happy with the week? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to switch off from us today? Disappear for life? Right? Brilliant. So I want to move this to one side. So the first thing I want to go through is the immigration in the UK. Now, there is so many routes to the UK to obtain either a work visa, a travel visa, just to come and visit, or a study visa, and a business visa as well. There's loads of other routes as well, like ancestry visas or like family route visas, which we're not going to go into today, because we're going to look at predominantly the tiers for the UK. Like I said, I'm not a legal immigration lawyer, so I don't want to go into it too much. I just want to give you the basic overview so you know how it works. If you have any questions about anything in detail, please go to Josephat and his team, because that's their job. I don't want to take their job off them. I'm not interested in that. I want to stick predominantly to training and recruitment, because that's what we are about. So in the UK, There's a 5-tier system. Some of them are points-based system and some of them are not points-based system, and this is what we want to show you. Some of them would end up with PR, some of them you just got no chance of getting PR on it. So you need to see if you ever do get an opportunity on it, do you still want to do it or not? And that's what we can discuss as well. So your first tier is your high value tier. It's for entrepreneurs. It's currently closed at the moment for entrepreneur routes, but if anybody was on it, they can still apply for extensions. So if you and for any reason was on it, I don't think any of you are, or if your friends on it, they can carry on applying for that until 2023, right? And that looks at like the innovation route and a startup route as well. There's also stuff like investors route and the graduate entrepreneurs. Same, the graduate routes and the entrepreneur routes are closed, but the other routes are still open. And this is for high skilled migrant workers to come into, and I'll discuss that a bit more in detail. Your second one is your skills worker visa, currently known as a tier 2. It was, so people still class it as tier 2, but in the UK, Boris Johnson wants it to be called a skilled worker visa. So that's what it is called. And this is for skilled workers coming to the UK to work. And there's a few different routes of the skilled worker visa, like the general one. You got the ICT route, which is if you've got a business in Kenya that you're working for, they can transfer you to the UK under the points-based system. You got a sports person one, a minister of religion, and you've also got, like, underneath the skilled worker visa, you've got the health and education visa as well. Your third one, which they don't do at the moment, is your unskilled worker visa, which is not in use. They did open it in a way for HGV drivers and for poultry workers for Christmas, but that was literally a temporary route for unskilled worker, but the class HGV workers as a skilled job. But they're not looking to open that because we don't need it at the moment. They'd rather give people jobs through a skilled worker route or look locally. So they have seized that one at the moment, and it opens as and when. Then you got your tier 4, which is your student visas, which predominantly a lot of you might come and do your degree here or your master's here, which can lead on to a potential PR route through a long way. It's not known as a PR route, but you can potentially lead to that. And then you have your last one, your tier 5, which is your temporary visas. This is for people that want to come and work for companies. They're already staffed, and these companies don't need you as a proper worker, but are giving you guys an exchange program or a youth mobility program. Now, some of these only, if you're from certain countries, can apply. Like the youth mobility scheme is only for certain countries, but the other ones is if you can come here basically, and your company allows you to, or you just applied for them and asked them if you can do some kind of voluntary work or charity work in the UK. So that's your 5 tiers. For tier 1 and tier 2, it is a points-based system, but tier 2 or the general visa would go more in detail into doing that. Like I said, not many people go for the high value one, because that is for, like I said, investors and entrepreneurs. They basically have the funds already to come to the UK and set up a business. So if you've got £2 million in your pocket, that is the route for you. But if you didn't have £2 million, which I don't think a lot of people have at the moment, if you have, great. But that is quite a very high expectation for people to come on that route. Now, if you did come through the high value route and you did have the £2 million and you was making money, you can actually settle on a PR route between 3 to 5 years. You can actually get it for 3 years if you meet the criteria. That's the only route, or in anything, even marrying a British citizen, it doesn't matter. That's the only one that would give you 3 years if you met the criteria. And the criteria is like, you need to have like a certain amount of money and give a certain amount of jobs to people in the first 2 years. If you meet that criteria, you just need to do an additional year and get an indefinite leave to remain. You can bring your dependents on all this as well. So that's that first one. like I said, graduates could normally come through this. They were really looking for graduate people to come and start on this, which would have been good if you were coming to study in the UK or you got scholarships, but they've put that on hold because I think they've got too many people on that route. So they are changing that. Harsha, do you want to add anything to the first one? Because you know a bit about these things as well.
No, I think no, not at the moment. You do well. Yeah.
Thank you, Harsha. Right. Tier 2 is the one that we're going to go through more in detail. So that is for skilled workers. You can get indefinite leave to remain after 5 years, as long as you're doing a skilled worker job, and you can be here for as long as you need to hit that 5 years. You don't need to, it's not like a 5 years and that's it. You can keep extending your visa until you hit your 5 years of working in the UK for a job that needs a sponsorship. As you can see here, we need a sponsorship for this one. And you can get PR on that. This is for skilled workers, so your job needs to be on the demand list, basically. If your job's not on that, then you can't get a skilled worker visa. So what you would need to do is you need to check your jobs that you're coming for, check the code. If you can't find the code, that's fine. You look at the job description. If you have got the skills and the experience, you can actually come through this route. So don't worry about the job title too much. It's the code that they're most important with. So you need to try and match that. If you think you match that and you got the skills, like I said, you can speak to Joseph out more in detail about it, and you can see if there's a potential way of you coming through that route. This one you need 70 points for. So it is a skilled points visa, and I'm going to go through that more in detail in the next couple of slides as well. Now, it covers sports person. That doesn't mean that, oh, I like playing hockey. I fancy going to the UK because I play hockey. I play hockey on the weekends. Let me go as a sports person. It doesn't work like that. Your sports person needs to be at the highest level. So if someone that's playing as an internationally established player, or you're a coach and you're coming to the UK and you're coaching a team, like say that you're coaching the football team, yeah, and you got an endorsement for that to come here. It's that type of sports person, not just that you play football on a weekend or with your kids. That won't work. Okay. They've also got one for Minister of Religion, which is for ministers that are with the big churches or the big communities or big religion things. And they need to be a member of that religion, really. You can't just turn around and say, oh, I read the Bible on a Sunday, I'm going to apply for it. No, you have to be a proper religious person, and you can come on that way. There is a few of our followers that have actually come on the Minister of Religion route, so it can be done on that as well. And you got, like I said, you got your ICT, which if there's a company in Kenya at the moment that is linked with the UK and you know that, get in there, because that is the best way to come, really. Get in there so you can gain the skills and see if they were happy to transfer you to the UK. I've done it with some of my companies. I've said to them, do you do anything overseas? And they say, yes, we do it in Dubai or India. And I say, put my name down for it. Even if it's not to the UK, put your name down for it, because that kind of international exposure is brilliant. So if you manage to find a company in Kenya that does ICTs, that is a brilliant way to come. And then even if you're here on an ICT, you can switch over to other routes. And like I said, I've gone through tier 3, and tier 4 is for generally students coming to the UK. Now it's predominantly for anybody over 18. That's the best way to come, really. But children can come as well if they're under the age, as a child visa, a child student visa as well. Both for the skilled worker visa and the student visas, you can bring your dependents and your family, because the UK are big about keeping families together. They don't like to split them up. They like to charge a lot of money for the families, but they don't like to split them up. So that's how they make their money. They want you to come with your families and your kids, and then they charge you extortionate amount to try and stay in the UK. So be prepared if you are going to bring your dependents and children to the UK, how much it's going to cost, including the health surcharge. The house surcharge is going up and up. I think when Harsha did it many years ago, he told me it was literally a small fee. Now it's in the thousands per person now. Okay. Any questions on anything at the moment with that? No, Harsha, do you want to add anything to that?
No, just the high value visa, you mentioned £2 million to show, but it's not just that. You'll have to you have to prove that you have a functioning business at the moment as well, right?
Yes.
Before you show the 2 million, yeah. And then the student visa, the children visa, 4 to 17, is that I don't know how much you know about it, because some people ask me on our channels as well, YouTube channels as well, like if their children apply for the student visa, can the parents come with them? That's something that people ask.
Yeah. Your parents, I don't know how it would work with children visa because I'm not legally into that, but normally your parents can't come with you, but they can come on a visitor visa, but they can't come on a dependent visa from what I know, only to come and visit in the UK, which I don't know how it would work because because we're not legal representatives, we don't really look into it too much. But that is something that you can ask Joseph at. Joseph might know the answer from his legal representatives if any of you want to look at that. But predominantly, you won't come as a dependent from what I know. You'll only come as a visitor. And visitors up to 6 months at a time. But you can have a 2-year route as a visitor visa. I think it's a 5-year and a 10-year visitor visa. It depends on how much you pay. But they need to ensure that you're not looking to settle here permanently because it's not a settlement route. So they would look at aspects of that. I rarely hear anybody come under I've not actually seen or heard anybody come under the age of 17. Some of them might come and stay with their grandparents if they've got grandparents here or aunties and uncles. They might be able to come that way, but that one's a bit more harder to achieve, really. So it's best to come on the general one for yourself and not make it complicated. Or if your children are 16 and 17 and you're happy to send them here and you've got family members to try and help you there, then that's fine because you can at least try and build their life in the UK to potentially obtain PR, like going through the student route. But like I said, the school needs to be affiliated with it as well. So you have to see if any schools, like secondary schools, are happy to give a visa, which I haven't seen at the moment. So I don't know if private schools do it or not, but that's something that we haven't looked into. So there is other visas. Like I said, you can come on a visitor visa. There's a brand new one out called a scale-up visa. It's for businesses. Brilliant incentive for people. So we'll go through that a little bit on day 5 for you guys. And you've got your family visas, like if you married a British citizen, if you have a child in the UK that's British, or a settlement route, really. So lots of other ones, but these are the main points-based system ones, okay? So, like I said, we're not going to go through the unskilled worker because it's pointless for you guys. We're not going to look at the temporary visas because that's also pointless. And high value one, you might have the money for it and the right business element, but we're not going to look at it at the moment because predominantly people are going to come through the skilled worker and the student visa, even though we're going to talk about businesses on day 5, okay? So that's what we're looking to go through today. So where did this points-based system come from? Do you all know about Brexit? How Brexit happened, or why it happened, or when it happened? Does anybody know anything that they can share? No? Come on, somebody.
We heard about it, but we don't understand in details what it entails.
Claire, that is a perfect answer because nobody understood it. Nobody understood what the hell was going on. They still don't understand it. Even Boris Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. That is actually the perfect answer. It's a load of mess. That's what it is. What happened was the UK.
I remember the Prime Minister was it Theresa May?
She was such a mess.
Theresa May. It was Theresa May, the Prime Minister in the UK when Brexit actually happened. But she couldn't handle it. She had to step down and she had to leave, right? Resign from the Prime Minister the position and give it to Boris Johnson because it was too much for her. And yeah, people were confused as well. What's going on and what's happening? And are the prices going up of everything? But you know, everything was going to become a mess. But it wasn't too bad at the end. But there were lots of implications and aftermath after that. But we're still going through the aftermath, but it's not as bad as we thought.
Yeah. Theresa May, putting it nicely, really fucked up the country. Basically, she messed it up. basically. Like, you know, she doesn't know what she's doing. That's why Boris Johnson looks tired and his hair's all over crazy, because he's picking up the mess from Theresa May. So she was just the worst MP that I've ever seen. And I think she knows it. All she used to do was dance. I can remember her dancing on TV, and the dancing was not very nice either. So what happened was, back in 2016, because I remember doing this, I was watching the referendum on TV, and we voted in the UK and in Europe. We voted to say, should we stay as a team? Should the UK and Europe stay together, or should we separate? I actually voted to separate. I wanted to separate. And the reason why I separated was because I seen people from overseas outside of Europe, like people from Kenya, people from Sri Lanka, Pakistan, you know, India especially, that are very smart, highly educated doctors, dentists. Like my doctor is Indian, my dentist is from abroad. You know, everybody that's in high school jobs here are from abroad, and they struggled to come to the UK or pay thousands of pounds to stay with their families, and the system was just unfair. So that used to anger me a lot. And I wasn't the only person that used to get angered. A lot of the UK got angry with the fact that it's not a fair system. Also, people from Europe used to come here because they can, and used to take the benefits of the UK and then go back to the country. They didn't contribute to the UK at all. So we got unemployed people or lazy people coming here, getting the money, going back to Europe, whereas people from outside of Europe struggling to try and come here. Really, really unfair. There was a documentary, I think in 2013, where
To clarify that, Sophia, you know, people from the European Union, they did not need any visa or anything to come to the UK, and vice versa. So people from like Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, so like unskilled people, we don't mind the skilled people, unskilled people from those countries just turned up in the UK without having to have any visa or anything, and just claimed the benefits from the government and took the money back to their country.
That's why a lot of migrants are coming through France. You see a lot of, if you see in the news, a lot of migrants are coming through France, because I think England, you can get visa there and there's a good life and you can take the benefits, which technically you can for certain people like refugees, and Europeans could potentially do it before. So we had the vote, we had the voting system, should we stay in or out? So a lot of us voted out because of the system. We never looked at the implications of trade unions. We never looked at the trading between, you know, we're going to lose out on this cheese and how much a car would cost to travel. We didn't care for that. We wanted a fair system, and we wanted to get rid of unskilled migrant workers back to Europe and have these skilled workers from Europe and from non-European countries. That's what I was looking at, and that's what predominantly a lot of people were looking at. So we didn't care for the rest of the implications, really. So that's what happened with the with Brexit. That's what they call it, Britain exiting from the European Union. That's what's called Brexit. And that's where Mexico come from. When Meghan and Harry left the UK, that's where Mexico, is it Mexico? It's like Brexit. So she got that name from that as well, because she departed the royal family and moved to the USA. So when that happened in 2016, they had until the 31st of December 2020 to put this in place. They had 4 years to sort this whole process out. That meant new laws for the UK. They did take some European laws, because the laws was the same before. European have got some good laws, I'm not going to lie, because I did my HR degree in for Europe, because we had that. They had some brilliant rules for working people. So we have actually stole some of that and kept it for the UK still. And we had to write new rules by then, and we have to do new trade deals and a new system altogether. And we were kicked off the flag. We were kicked off this flag here. So we're no longer part of this flag. So that's how we looked before. And this is how it is now. So from the 1st of January, this is how it looks now. Remember I said we got Republic of Ireland and Ireland there. At this moment, Irish citizens can still move freely between the UK as well. So this is one, even though the Republic of Ireland is still part of Europe. Am I right, Harsha? Yeah. And so all of this is one now. So if you do come to the UK, can you go to Europe? Yes, you can go to Europe from the UK. You need to have a Schengen visa to go to Europe now. which was always there anyway. It's not that difficult to get. It's about £75 or $75 because they work in dollars. We still work in pound. It's 75 like European
Euros.
Sorry, that's it. I don't even know myself. 75 euros that you pay to just go across the border. Exactly the same. You just have to explain why you're going there for a holiday and the reason. So if you are in the UK, you can still go. And more than likely, you will get accepted if you are showing that you're coming back to the UK. So that's that. Any questions about this? No? So I'm hoping you understand how it works now. So
Does that make a little bit more sense? Or is it still...
Sorry?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is that the reason why the island use euros? Because I don't think they use pounds.
No, they've always used euros. The UK always wanted to keep British pound, because it's a stronger currency. It was very strong before. It's dropped now. It's nearly on the same thing, but the rest of Europe have always used euros, and we've always used pounds, sterling pound, and we didn't want to change. Scotland wanted to change at one point, but they are very reluctant. Like Harsha went through, they've still got the Scottish note, but we still use pounds. So we never wanted the euro. And I think that's a good thing, because if we did use euros, the currency rate would drop for us as well. So we would have been in line with that. So having our own entity was very good, because we are still a little bit stronger. I don't know what the currency rate is to tell you. I think it was £1, £1.2 to $1.2 euros to £1, something like that. Harsha can check that and let us know. But we have never been part of it.
So the entire island uses euros.
Yeah, so everything in blue still uses euros. We still use the Great British pound.
Sorry. I think when John means island, I think John is referring to Europe. That's not really an island. It's just these are other countries. So this is all the European countries. So France, Germany, Portugal here, and this is Spain, Italy. All of these are separate countries, but they are a part of this European Union. They are still a part of it, and they all use the same currency, euro. We came out of it, even though Republic of Ireland is still part of European Union. The UK came out of it, and we just use British pounds. Does that make sense, John?
Yes, that's how it is. So if you want to go to Italy or France or Germany, you just need to, exactly like how you would come from Kenya to the UK, you just do a currency converter, go to the post office, or you got shops that do currency converters as well. You can look online, you can get it sent to you. There's loads of ways of doing currency converters, so you can see the rates. If you've got a friend in Europe, say you was going to Germany and you got a friend in Germany, ask them what the rate is. If it's higher in Germany, wait until you get to Germany and then change your money. That's the tip that we do. So if we go abroad anywhere, so if I went back to Sri Lanka now, I would check the rate in England, see what they're giving me, and then I'll ask Harsha's family, check the rate in Sri Lanka, see what they give me. If they give me a higher rate there, I would only change £50 here, just a little bit money for like the travel, like, you know, if I have to pay something just between the taxis or anything like that, and get the rest of the money converted there. That way you get more for your money. Okay, so that's a good tip to have. Don't just transfer it all in Kenya. If you get higher money in England, you just need to find out. And if you can't find out through a friend, look online at UK sites to see. Okay, make the money up if you can, because it makes a big difference. Okay, so that's how we came out of it. So the points-based system, how it works is you need to get 70 points. If you get 70 points, you can come to the UK. Okay, that's what you need to get. Now you might think that, oh, 70 points is not a lot, because if any of you know about the Canada routes, Canada has a points-based system as well, and that's like, you need something like 500 points or something to get a skilled worker visa, and you might think it's not the same as that. Bear in mind, Canada works differently, so don't think, oh, I don't need many points. It's just they made the criteria a bit more clearer for the UK, which is shocking. So you need 20 points to come to the UK. There's two ways of obtaining this. One is through your mandatory points, and one is through your tradable points, okay? Your mandatory points, you have to get 50 in your mandatory points. If you don't get that, you're not coming, because you have to have it there. You can't have it all from tradable points. The rest of it is through your tradable points, which is actually achievable, especially with a healthcare visa, jobs on the shortage occupation, you can get that 20 points. So your priority needs to be, before you come to the UK, is can you meet these mandatory points? If you can, and you can, the 20 points through the healthcare or any health and social care or jobs in demand, you can come to the UK, because that will give you your 70 points. You get your 70 points, you grab your visa, grab your suitcase, jump on any plane and come to the UK. Woo, that's the plan. So that's what we want to do. And we will be here rolling out the red carpet for you to come over to the UK, because we do actually we do like migrants, skilled worker migrants and expats coming to the UK to boost our economy. That's why we're so passionate about it. And that's why we're working with Joseph to try and help where we can, because we want skilled workers here. We don't want unemployed bums and roadmen here. We want nice people to come and live that luxury life here, and a good life, really. Any questions about that? Right. So we're going to look into the two areas. Remember, I told you there's two tiers. Do you remember what tiers I mentioned that we're going to look at? The best
I
ones?
have a question before
Yeah.
we move on.
Yeah, Claire?
About the mandatory points. What entails the mandatory points?
Just going to show you now so you can tell what they are. Very complex in a way. So there is more to it, which I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want this to become an immigration thing, but I will tell you the basic mandatory points. And if you think you're going to meet them, book a meeting with Joseph and his team. Am I right, Joseph? You can book a meeting with Joseph and his team, and you can discuss it more in detail with him. So I can tell you a basic overview.
Yeah, actually, we will be also bringing our immigration lawyer to speak to the applicants, especially those who have also done IELTS, so that we get to have a clear understanding on how to earn those points. And that is why we're here, actually.
Brilliant. So any questions in detail, you can find out from Joseph and his legal team. But I can give you a general overview of the two routes. So which two routes did we say we're going to go through? Do you remember what number it was? Yeah, I can see Grace miming it. She said number 2. Grace and me have got a link, you know. I can see everything she does.
Okay.
And what was the other one?
Number
Number
2
4.
and number 4.
That's right, Grace. Well done. So I'm just going to go through these two. I've already been through a bit, but like Claire asked now, Claire, this is what you need, okay? So you need your mandatory points and you need your tradable points. Now, I'm just going to get my thing. This is your mandatory points here. If you don't get these 3, you can't come, really. So you need to get offered by a job approved by a sponsor. You need a sponsor. Either me or Harsh are going through the certificate of sponsors and where to find the sponsors. I think we're going through it on Thursday, if I'm right. We will tell you where to look for these sponsorship jobs and what companies have been approved. Now, I'll tell you a tip now. From the 15th of February, all health and social care companies can give you a sponsorship from the 15th of February for up to 12 months. That's literally tomorrow. Okay, so any care home, any charity, anything like that. So you can look at them even if they're not on this, because if you manage to get a job, you can say to them, can you get me a certificate sponsor? And they can apply because they need you. So they will get it. But other jobs that are not care jobs can't at the moment, and you will need to look at this. Everything under, you need a job at an appropriate level. Your appropriate level is RQF3, which is A level and equivalent. But honestly, realistically, you need it at a degree or PhD. You need it higher than, you're not going to get it on an A level. It's just, compared to the market out here, you need to have a degree or a master's and stuff, okay? Just look at the higher rate, because it contradicts itself down here, what you can have and whatever's higher. And you need to speak English at the required level. Joseph had not said that someone's coming for IELTS, because I don't know much of, I think there's different levels you need for different jobs. So Joseph and his team will go through the required amounts, because I don't want to give the wrong information today on that. Then you have your tradable points. Now, this, all you need to do is get 20 points. If you got this 50 points and you got that job offer, all you need is another 20 points. If you got a job in care, because that's on the shortage demand list, look here, look this one here. If your job is on here, you get your 20 points straight away. That's you done, right? But if you don't get that, you need to hit one of these things. So you need to make 20 points, or you need to get a salary over 25,500, or you need to be educated, a PhD in STEM. That's your science, technology, mathematics, and I think it was economics. Am I right? Or that, or engineering. Engineering. So if you got PhD in a STEM, you will get your 20 points automatically. If not, you can do it through PhD, through relevant job, or if your salary is between 23 to 25,500. So there's a good way of doing that, okay? So it looks confusing, and it is more in detail than this. Like I said, the team will go through it with you, but this is what you need to aim for. Aim for the first 3 mandatory points. Without that, it's not going to happen. I thought this route was hard. 1 year ago, when I did my first UK video, I said, it's not going to happen, guys. It's stupid. So many people contacted me and said, Sophie, I've already got a work visa through this route from South Africa, especially vets. They were vets, they were dental nurses, they were doctors. They go, it's so much easier for us now. We've been offered 2 or 3 jobs, and that changed my whole mind that it will work for you guys. And that was a year ago. Since then, there's been so many routes come out, and they're still extended to it, because we've realized it's actually easier. Even me and Harsh were saying it's easier, in our opinion, compared to other countries. A lot of people are coming through the UK. Even if they want to settle in Canada, you'd rather come to the UK and go that way. That's that one. And then you've got, oh, yeah. Your student route, like I said, it's not PR. Skilled route is 5 years. Student route is not PR. But there's a new scheme come out at the moment. You can study in the UK at degree level, master's or PhD. Yeah, 1 year is enough. You don't need to do 2 or 3 years. 1 year is more than enough. PSW came out last June, right? That gives you 2 or 3 years in the UK, any job you want, any hours you want, to come and get UK exposure. Brilliant, brilliant incentive. If you're doing a PhD or a doctorate or equivalent, you would actually get 3 years. So since they put that on, we've had a surge of master's students come to the UK, doing 1 year masters here, getting PSW, making lots of money just in case they want to go study again, and they are getting the jobs in the skilled worker visas. That's what they're doing. I've got people on PSWs, Harsha can back me up on this, that are marketing people, editors, news reporters, are doing care jobs at this moment, because they're thinking, like, you know, I know I've got a degree in this, but let's do the care workers, get that senior role, skilled worker, and come to the skilled worker. So they've got a really good plan. And some of our workers have actually, within 2 months, got a job within the NHS. They're in the NHS at the moment. They're making that rapport. They're gonna, and they've got 3 years now. They've still got 2.5 to 3 years to work on it. And they're gonna ask for a sponsorship visa at the end of it. So that is a good route to come through as well. It's not a PR route, like I said, it's just a very good route that people are using. If for any reason you come to the UK and study, you've done your 2 years PSW and you still don't get a skilled worker route, you can look at the 10-year route, which is very hard. You met Yvonne last week. She's the only person that I know personally that's done 10 years in the UK through studying. Remember, she said she worked 2, 3, 4 jobs, worked what she could. And now she's got a fantastic job as a lecturer. Is he a lecturer, Harsha? Fantastic job.
Yeah, she is a lecturer.
Doing one job now, relaxing, and she's got her British citizenship and she's working, but she worked so hard to get that. So she did the 10-year route. If not, like I say, marry a British person. That's fine. But no, these are the routes. Is there any questions on any of this at the moment? Okay, brilliant. So I'm just going to move on now because I want to go into it. So what do you guys think goes into a UK CV? What do you think you should put in it? So what do you think should go in a CV? Don't worry if it's wrong or not. I want you to throw things at me. What you think? Tell me off your CV, yeah? Tell me what you got on your CV. It's no wrong or right. Well, there is wrong answers, but I'm not gonna tell you what for it, like say naughty, naughty. Shouldn't do that. So tell me what it is.
Education.
Education, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down. Yeah. What else do you think?
Some personal information.
Do you know what kind of information you would have?
Maybe the name.
Yeah.
Address.
Yeah.
Contacts.
Sorry, what? I didn't hear that last one, sorry.
Languages you can speak.
You say languages?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Anything else?
Volunteering experience.
I can't even spell the word. Harsha, help me out.
EOLUN. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, got there. Okay. Anything else? It's okay if you can't think of anything else. That's fine. So
Work experience.
work experience, brilliant.
Skills.
Sorry?
Skills.
Skills, yeah.
Hobbies.
Hobbies.
Reference.
Reference. Do you know how many references you need?
3.
3. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, brilliant. So,
In the CV in Kenya.
sorry, Harsha.
In Kenya, do you guys put a photo through the CV at all?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yeah, a
Photos, yeah.
photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that we've got quite a lot there. So brilliant. So what I'm going to do is go through it now with you guys. Okay. So we're going to go through to see if your answers are correct in the next couple of slides. So why do you think you need a CV? What's the point? What's the point of a CV? Any of you know why when someone like why do you think, oh, I
I
need a
think
CV?
it's putting everything about you in one document.
Brilliant. That's it.
Everything about your life or maybe your experience, everything about you in one document.
That's right. So yeah, thanks Claire for that. So, or Caroline, thanks for that. So a CV is the first step for you looking for that job and landing that job. It's basically what an prospective employer wants to see from you. So it's anything that would benefit them that you put on it. You don't want to put everything on it. You want to put what would benefit them to get that job. So it's like they are judging you from that cover of the book. So they need to see before they read it, are you the right person? So you need to give them a snapshot of who you are before they can interview you, ask for applications and do phone conversations with you. you definitely need a CV to apply for jobs. If you go to job fairs or events, these days you can do everything online. So you can go to events online for the UK. You can even, if you're in the UK, walk into services and have your CV ready because it just looks more professional. If you walk into a company and say, do you have any jobs left? They go, oh, send your CV, say, here you go, got my CV. And you got it ready for them to give it. It's more nicer that you're ready. Like you would walk in with it, or you can say, I've got it on my phone. I can email it to you. What's your email? And you can do it through phone as well, because we're getting more high tech now. But it's always good to have it on you. It's also good if you are walking down the street or you contact recruitment agencies and say, here's my CV. Can you look for a potential job for me to do? I used to walk down whenever I go somewhere, back in the day, I used to walk down the high street to all the recruitment agencies and walk in with my CV and say, have you got a job that will meet my needs? And they love that. They look at it and think, you know what? Yes, I do, or no, I don't. And they can give you an interview on the spot and put you on their systems. We do the same when people come to us. If we're doing a certain area, saying, have you got a job in Birmingham or have you got a job in Scotland? Yes, we do. Let's do an interview right now. And that's what we do, okay? If an employer likes your CV, they would either give you a phone interview or send you an application form, or they will do both of them. Sometimes they do actually invite you for an interview before they even give you an application form, because they don't want to waste time. So you would get either an application form or interview, or both, really, okay? Also, by having CVs readily available, you can actually look for better opportunities all the time. Like whenever I have a job, I always look around for another job, because you never know. So even if I've got my dream job there might be another job that is better for me, more money, and you can look for another job without stressing about money. So you're thinking, okay, that's bringing my money in, let me look for the job that I want. So it's always good to have a CV ready for that reason, because you might passively look for a job. In the UK, it's called CV, which is curriculum vitae. You would hear resume a lot, which we went through last week. You might hear that a lot in America or Canada, but in the UK, we just call everything CV. You don't need to worry about resumes. If you use the word resume, they would know what you're talking about, but they're not categorizing it at all, so don't worry about that in the UK. I never knew there was a difference between a CV and a resume until 2 years ago, and I'm in HR, because we don't care for that. A CV is a CV, okay? So to start your CV, you need to, first of all, look for a job. You look at the job advert, or you look online and you apply for that job. You would look at their job descriptions and their personal specification. Very, very important in applying for jobs. And this is where you would get that interview, through your job description and your job specification. If you do this wrong, you will not get that guaranteed interview. I have matched all my job CVs to a job spec and job description, and 99.5% out of the time, I get interviews back that I'm actually declining interviews. Me and Harsha, just for the fun of it, when we moved, it was 2 weeks ago, we applied for 50 jobs. We don't need a job, we just applied for it. Right, we applied for it at someone in care, like that's fully competent, as someone that doesn't know about care. Like Harsha has not been a care worker before, and we wanted to see if we met the job description and job specifications, will they give us a job? And Harsha can give you a little bit of elaboration on there. Harsha, did you hear back from anybody with no experience?
Yeah, I heard back from some of the companies that I applied for. They were actually looking for people with no experience at all, but that was for support workers. So they didn't really need any experience, but senior jobs, they definitely asked for experience, which I didn't have and which I didn't put any in my CV. For support workers, yeah, they didn't mind the experience or qualifications at all.
And Harsha got them because he matched the job description, which I'll see if I can go through with you as well, okay? Company details, you need to know about the company. Don't apply for a job for a company, get the interview, and they go, because the first question they'll ask you is, tell me a bit about us. Are you like, oh crap, which company did I apply for? Because I applied for 100 jobs. Like, which company? You would look silly, and they would not be impressed. So always look at the company details. So if you applied for a job with the NHS, go on the NHS website and learn about them before you go into it. and learn about the actual role. So if you're thinking, oh no, I applied for 50 jobs, which job is this? Go and look at what it was. Go and look at that and read the job description so you look competent and professional in your interview. Because I hate it when someone comes through and I say, tell me a bit about the company, or do you know which job you applied for? They're like, no. That goes to show they just applied for lots of jobs. And you need to make your employer or the person that's hiring you feel special. You need to make them feel like you're the only one that they applied for. You didn't apply for any other jobs. You know everything about them and you want this job. That's how you guarantee your job interview, or you will guarantee that job. If you said, oh, I applied for lots of jobs and I can't remember, can you tell me a bit about them? You're going to get marked down compared to somebody that shows passion, because they want you to meet the aims and objectives of the company. Okay, so make sure you research the company. Very important. These 3 things are so important, right? Think about how your skills that you've got at the moment are transferable and match your employer's job description and gather all the information you need. If you're from an engineering background and you're applying for a care worker job, match some skills that you might have there to that. For example, you can turn around and say, reporting and recording, I do thorough reporting and recording and investigation in my engineering job because I do X, Y, and Z. These are transferable skills that I can use, transfer it and match it, even if you're not from the job. That's what they're looking for. I've applied for jobs from different areas and said, I got experience in reporting and recording. I got experience in policy and procedures. I got experience in managing. They want them transferable jobs. So that's why you have to make each CV and cover letter personal. I know it's long-winded, but you'd rather that than send people saying, I want a job. How many emails we've got from people saying to us, give me a job. I feel like saying, oh, okay, then here you go. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna even look at that. You need to be personal. Some people have given us in detail saying, you know what, Sophie, Harsha, Sophie, thank you for the opportunity. I have no experience, but I've got X, Y, and Z. And I'm looking at them thinking they have took time to write that and try and change their skills to meet us. So I would respond back to them saying, either unfortunately we haven't got anything. So I could say, unfortunately, we haven't got anything, or I could say, you know what, you do me, you know, I like you, I want to interview you. So that is very, very important. Look at your past voluntary jobs and your past experience and your past employers and add this all to it as well. Evidence any training you've done that could be beneficiary to it. Doesn't matter which business you're from, doing any courses on the laws or the policies, procedures, anything to do with SWOT analysis, anything to do with management, or generic things that you can use in any business. You can do short courses in the UK and on e-learning sites to gain these extra short courses. You need to evidence your training as well. You can't just say you've done it. And like I said, tailor your CV to suit the job. If you match the skills and experience to the job, you're connected together and you will definitely get that job. Now, I'm just going to show something. Let me see if I can get you a Birmingham City. Okay, I'm just going to go on a website to show you. Okay, this is a live website. It's somewhere I used to apply for jobs all the time. It's the Birmingham City Council. I worked there for 10 years. If you go into any of these legit companies, if you can't find it on Indeed, look for a job. So let's see what jobs they got. Look, they got loads of jobs. You know, these are all legit. They're all education, which is on the shortage occupation list. There might be recruiting sponsored work as well. So you can look at any council jobs because that's where you're going to get them from. Say, for example, let me see. I will click something. They will tell you about the job there. They'll tell you how to apply for it. So please be mindful of how to apply for it. Because if you don't meet the criteria of the basic things and when to do it by, that job's actually gone. They're not going to give you an interview if you miss the deadline. You have to check if they have any job specs on there. That one never had a job spec. So you will look at a job that's got job description on it that can tell you more. This one, look, it tells you everything that you need to know for the job. But it doesn't have a job spec, so you have to keep looking to find the job spec. You have a job description and a job spec. A job description is what they tell you here, but what you need to get your hands on is a job specification. That is really important, and that will guarantee you that interview. The reason why it will guarantee you that interview is because they tell you exactly what they're looking for. They have mandatory and they have mandatory things that they want from you and additional things. If you meet all the mandatory criteria and you match up the essential criteria, they have to give you, more than likely 9 out of 10 times, they have to give you an interview, or you can challenge them saying, I matched your criteria, you didn't give me an interview. By law, they're supposed to give you an interview. And we as recruiters know that if somebody meets the job spec and they've met everything, you have to give them an interview, regardless if they get the job. But by law, fortunately, I can't find a job description on any of the ones I've hit, unfortunately. They normally have a job spec with it. So I'm going to see if I can find one just in general, just to show you. Oh. Right. Let's see if I can find one, just 3 images. No, they haven't got one even, they haven't even got me a essential criteria. So you'll have to look for something that's got a job spec on it. So this might be one roughly here. If they show it to me. Nope, it's not going to show me. Yes, it is. Okay. So look, key areas of responsibility. They tell you what they are looking for. They need you to provide a knowledge of technical information, and if you've done tender responses. So you could turn and say, I have done tenders in my job, and give them, you can write it in your covering letter. You can put a little bit in your CV, but put in your covering letter how you've met their criteria of how you've done project plans. If you've done any project work, put that in your CV. If they tell you, have you ever done any presentations, put it in your CV. If you're meeting all these criteria, they have to give you an interview, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, so do you feel confident that you know what to do in regards to meeting the job description and the job specification to your covering letter in your CV? Now, in your CV, don't put, in your CV is meant to be bullet points, okay? Don't put everything in your CV. That is for your covering letter. So just put a little snapshot in your CV, but put it in detail with an example in your covering letter, which I'll cover later.
I have a question before you continue. You've said about job description and specification.
Yeah.
Let's say you're applying for a job and maybe you're just from school, so no experience, no nothing, you're just there, but you want to apply for a job which maybe it's they have their description and all that. So what do you do about that?
So I don't know how it works in Kenya. Do you know in Kenya, like in England, when you're 16, you leave school normally, you can either go to college or you can go to work. But when you're 14, we have a 2-week work placement. We do 2 weeks. Our school sends us for 2 weeks out in the world to try and gain exposure. Do you have anything like that in Canada? In Kenya? Do your school send you anywhere? We need to speak to your schools, man. They need to send you, they need to do that. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can put other things in it. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can try and do voluntary work on a Saturday morning, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Barber shop, you know, helping with cleaning, helping with cooking, helping with dog walking, anything that you can potentially do in that is work experience. You're gaining voluntary work experience. I think it was Simon, if I got it correctly, that said voluntary experience, or Samuel, I can't remember, sorry. Gain that experience, you need to go off your own back. Do you know what that will show me? That will show me that you didn't ask anybody. You as a volunteer yourself went and got the experience. I want you to work for me because you've got initiative to go outside and look for a job instead of sitting down and waiting for the job to come to you. So go out and try and gain that exposure, even if it's voluntary, even if it's 1 month, even if it's for 3 hours a week, it doesn't matter. You're making that initiative. I did voluntary work at 19 years old for 9 months as a youth worker, because I didn't care. I didn't care for the money. I wanted the experience. That job got me to where I am today. Without that experience, I would not be where I was. The reason why I was doing 9 months in a youth center, it was called Small Heath Youth Center. Aston Youth Center came over just to play games with the children. They saw me very energetic playing. You know, I was playing. I don't care. Like my Saturday morning is playing video games and football. They go, she's a voluntary worker. They approached me and said, apply for a job with us. We've got 20 hours. We've got 20-hour post. I was thinking, what? Okay, I got a job. I applied because I was already in their head. They gave me the job. And when they found out I did voluntary work, they're like, she doesn't care about the money. She cares about the job. And I got that job. The manager used to text me and tell me all the answers. She said to me, like, you know, have you put your CV in? Make sure you know the answers. And if I spoke too much, she used to say, shut your mouth now, like, don't talk more or talk a bit more. She helped me with my first interview, right? So obtain that experience. If you can't obtain that experience at all, what you need to do is you need to put your everyday life situations into your CV. For example, care work. Have you looked after any of your family members? Have you looked after children? Have you looked after your elderly neighbors? Put that into your CV. Say, I help my neighbors. I make sure she's okay. She's got her personal care done. You know, she's eating properly. I check on her every day. Put that experience, because that is experience, into your work. Okay, no matter where you come from or how life is, you can somehow adapt your life into a job. Okay, so you need to be innovative and put it nicely into that. And that's what we look at. We've given jobs, Harsh, you can back me up, to people that look after the elderly people, because they talk about it. You can tell. They say, you know what, my grandma's got diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. You know, it's been really tough for my family. You know, look after them. I thought, you know what, they can't go out and work because they're looking after someone, and they go, look, they've just passed away. So I've got time now. I want to carry on caring and carry it on. I want that person, because that person's caring. For them to do that, we didn't care about the skills. The Harsh said they applied for jobs with no skills, experience. I want that person because they're caring. So I hope I answered your question there. I know I talked a bit much, but I'm hoping I can give you different elements to try and get that job still, yeah? Josie, but I need more time. I've only got 2 hours. There's so much I can talk about with this.
Actually, we intentionally will create another time just to cover more on how one can prepare themselves.
Yeah,
to job applications and presenting oneself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think me and Harsh, I think because we're in this industry, we got so much, we can tell them all the tips. We can help with everything. So I'll try and get it all done by 10 past. If not, I'll try and catch it up within the week, because this is important. Now, there's 3 layouts you can do for the UK. I'm so sorry if I'm talking at you. I'm really sorry, because I'm going to try and get you guys involved, but I really want to make sure I get this in. 3 UK CVs you can do, okay? The most popular one is the traditional CV, chronological CV. Can you see that? First name and last name. That's it. Don't put CV on it. We know it's a CV. You don't need to tell us. We know it's a CV. Put your address. If you've got a UK address, put it down so we know what area you're in. If you haven't got a UK address, you can put down you're pending a UK address or where you are. Your phone number. Don't put any random number. That needs to be the number that we can call you on. Your email, that's the email we can call you on. Make sure your email is a professional one. Do not have I love Manchester United, gmail.com. That's not professional. Have it as sophia.samarawikrama@gmail.com, something like that. Okay, have a professional CV, because I had some really funny ones when I'm young and at school, like, oh my god, I can do this email. If that email stays with you when you're 25 years old, it's a bit embarrassing to get professionals coming through. So have a professional one. It's your name, because that email you're going to keep hopefully for life, because you're going to apply for jobs, and also previous employers would always come back to you to see if you want a job. So have one professional one and one private one, okay? Experience needs to be from what you're doing right now and count backwards up until the age of 16. So if you're 25 now, it's from 25 and count backwards to 16. If you had jobs before you were 16, that's fine. If you had it before you were 14, that's slave labor. Hopefully no one was doing anything before they were 14 who's enjoying life. But if you've got little weekend jobs, that's fine. Put the company name and the postcode there. You don't need to put the whole company address, okay? Just put down, like say, sport worker, Birmingham, B8, 1 HP. That's enough. You don't want them to call them. You don't want that. They just want to know roughly where it was. They can Google it anyway. Education, the same. You put education after experience. From what you're doing now, count backwards until you was at secondary school. They don't care about anything at primary school. If you don't have no experience and you're going straight from school doing this, education goes at the top, okay? But try and put at least one experience, even voluntary one. It just looks better for your CV. If you're thinking, oh no, I've got like one voluntary, I've only been to secondary school, I've got nothing else, add your skills. Skills is not a big thing, but add your skills to it as well, okay? I'm not a big fan of activities. I don't think hobbies in the UK, we're about equality and diversity. I don't look at activities think, oh my God, he loves Liverpool. I'm taking that person. I don't care what you can. I want to see what you can bring, not who you like. So hobbies is not a thing. If you think your hobbies relate to the job, then put it in, okay? So for example, you can say, I love to educate myself. I love to study constantly. Even though it's an activity, you've put it back into your CV, okay? Otherwise, don't put down that you like doing certain things. If you're going for something that's like skilled, you can put down, I love to play chess and Monopoly and games that like motivate me because they are good job. If you say, I love to play like, Nintendo Switch and I'll pretend to play like the tennis game, that's not going to benefit me because you're playing a fake game. But if you're playing something knowledgeable, you can use that on your CV, okay? The next thing you've got is academic CV. So if any of you guys are applying for being a professor or a tutor or a teacher, they tend to use this type of CV. So they put the same details at the top, education, but they put the awards that they've got, any awards they got, and their teaching experience, because part of I don't know how it works in Kenya, but part of UK, you will go to uni, do your degree, you might do your master's, and then you have a work placement. You can put your related experience and your teaching experience in there. So you can say 300 hours teaching in a primary school, because they tend to split it up. They put you in primary school, they put you in secondary school, they might put you in specialist schools. So you say 200 hours in a specialist school with secondary prep school, 1 year of this, that's what they are looking for. And what subjects you taught. Did you teach just maths? Did you teach it all? This is why it's an academic one. And any other related experiences. If you've done any publications and papers, because a lot of people have to do a lot of literature reviews for being a teacher or some research papers, put that in. Someone said languages, you can put that into any CV, put languages down. I put all my languages down. I say, I speak Urdu, Hindi, Mipri, Punjabi. I get jobs saying, oh, you speak this language. Can you be a translator? Yes, I can. You drive? Yes, I do. Anything that's transferable like that, put it in. And your memberships, like if you've got any membership bodies, like Harsha is membership of REC. He's a recruitment consultant. So he would put REC, recruitment consultant. If they think, oh, Harsha's lying, they can actually ring up REC and say, is Harsha a membership? Like, is Harsha a member? Because Harsha's paying for his fees, they can say, yes, Harsha Smarikram is a member of the REC community. So they know that you have got membership already. Okay? So if you've got anything like that, it will go for you. And that's how academic one works. Your last one, I rarely see this one, but it's a skills-based one. So if you're going for a specialist job, you can do a skills one where, say you're going for engineering, you will put down let's do this one, publication, the specialist one. Sophie has gone for a publication one. She's saying that she is fantastic at press releasing. She's got advanced skills in media, crisis management, marketing, and creative writing. She's telling us her skills. She's measured this herself, but she would back this up in a covering letter saying how she got this. She might have won awards for her her creative writing, her marketing might have won her like recognition that her employers gave her. She's also put her languages, which works for as a PR specialist, that would work. So she's put her skill based and she's put all her jobs here, specialist jobs here. So she's targeting one market. If you've got a generic CV, you would not need this. This is just for that one area of job, that unique job that you are applying for to get that job. Okay. Your CV should only be 2 pages, A4 pages. But if you're a bit older, like I am, and you've got a lot of experience and skills, it can run on to other pages, but don't make it too long. My CV is 3 pages long. The reason why is because my last page has got all my short courses on it. It's just additional information. I got rid of a lot of stuff. I got rid of hobbies. I got rid of skills. I got rid of personal information. I've only put my name really like at the top. I put my education, my experience, my education, and I've got 100 short courses because I'm a qualified trainer. That's where I get the jobs from, the short courses. I tell you now, that plus the experience, I get jobs just like that. But I worked 10 years on that, and I've got every single CV. My CV book is this big. In every company I walk into, I take my book with me. And if they go to me, oh, you've done this course, I'm like, here you go, here's my book. And they can see every single CV I've got, and they are impressed that I've come in there prepared. So if you do any short courses,
You mean certificates, right? Not
your
CVs.
certificates. Sorry, your CV. No, I'm walking with my certificates. Sorry, Harshli, yes, you're right. So walking with my certificates. My certificates are UK based. They can check it for CPD. So even if they're not from UK and they're from overseas and they're relevant, put it in there. You know, don't just start from the UK, put in anything that you've got from Kenya or from the USA, anything, just put it in there and show them your bulk of certificates that you got. Okay. Any questions about any of that at the moment? Are you happy with all that? So the main ones you should go for is your first traditional CV, okay? That's the one you should be aiming for unless you are a tutor or personal one. Now, remember, we done this. You came up with some really good things that you can potentially put on your CV. But the main things they want is your contact details. They want your name at the top of the page. You don't need to write it's a resume or CV. You can. It's not a big deal though. Your personal profile is just your, like I said, your address, email. If you are driving, put your driving license on. You say driving license, yes, full or provisional, because a lot of jobs these days want drivers, and that will stand out. That's something unique at the top. References, 2 references is more than enough for the UK. You can have 3. One needs to be your current employer. The other one can be your previous employer, or if you don't have a previous employer, you could be your previous education or your current education. Or if you really don't have it, it needs to be a friend. It cannot be a family member. It needs to be a friend of 2 years, but they would prefer 2 employers or 1 employer, 1 education reference, okay? But you can put a 3rd one. Now, with your CV, do not put your contact details of your references on there. Put excellent references upon request. That's what you write. If you put your details of your friends and your work people and they contact them, your employers, 1, going to find out you're looking for a job. And 2, they weren't told that they're going to get contacted because they didn't know and you didn't know. And 3, you don't want them to have constant calls that they won't give you they won't give you a reference. So just put excellent references upon request. Put excellent if it is excellent. Give your person the heads up saying, I need a reference. Can I put you down? They will say yes. Because if this person doesn't like you and you put them on a reference, they're not meant to give you a bad one, but they can potentially say, you know what? I wouldn't really employ her again, but they're not allowed to give you a bad one, but they can on the phone. People do it on the phone, but on paper they won't. They will ring up companies and say it. So never give the details, okay? And no one's going to penalize you for giving details beforehand. And even on the application form, if they say, can we contact your employers? Say no. You don't want people to contact your employers before you've got a job. Say no. I always say I put Harsha as my reference. I put Harsha, his telephone number, I put 0000. And then in the job description, I write, will be given if accepted. No one's ever penalized me for that, because I don't want no one to have my employer's details. I don't want them to call them and check on me beforehand. That's not fair. and that's discrimination, but we would never know that unless our reference tells us, okay? That's what I do. It's totally up to you though, but it's never penalized me for doing that.
I haven't put any references on my CV either, and
No.
I've never had a problem with that, because we receive lots of CVs with references, but we don't really care. Any company would not really care to get references until they've done an interview with you. And in the UK, we are only allowed to get references from your previous employers or anybody, only if we are actually offering you the job. If we don't offer you the job, even before we speak to you, we are not allowed to contact your references anyway. So there's no point of putting any references in your CVs. I recommend not to put any CVs. Just like Sophie said, just put excellent references available on request.
You can put references on request, but big yourself up. I'm going to give you excellent references because I'm an excellent person. So excellent references upon request. But like I said, make sure they are excellent, because you don't want someone to say they're not excellent. You know, she's a crap worker. Like, don't hire her. So put it if it's actually genuine. But that's where you can manipulate the system in the fact that you would find that person. So if you think my HR is not going to give me a good one, speak to your manager or speak to a senior worker saying, look, do you mind giving me a reference? And they will say yes or no. That's how you do it. I've done it loads. I've sometimes, you know, I'm not encouraging this, right? So don't take my bad roadman things that I do. When I'm from England, I can do it. I work in a job, I don't like them. I'm like, you know, I'll screw this job. I walk out. I'm thinking, crap, I need a reference from them. So I ring my friend saying, can you give me a reference, please? My friend, HR would not give me the reference because they'll say she walked out, but I would ask somebody else. So be careful, okay? But I didn't say that. That's not recorded. I'm going to deny it, okay? Work history, put your work history down. Like you said, always earliest to oldest. Education history, the same, earliest to oldest. If you are pending results, just put down awaiting results, okay? Also, if you got history in the UK, education history, don't blag it, because they can see on their systems all your history from when you're 16 is recorded. Because I never knew that. I rang someone, I said, oh, I haven't done my MVQ level 3. And they're like, yeah, you did. You did it 4 years ago. I was thinking, oh, crap. They can see it. So don't lie, because they can see it. Especially if it's a vocational qualification or a degree. Short courses you can get away with. Membership bodies, like I said, like Harsha's REC, you can have HR ones, you can have doctoral ones, nurses, MCN, registration. Very important to get that job because they know you're already part of it. And make sure there's no gaps in your CV. If there is a gap, explain it. If you had a gap for 2 years, explain it. Don't say, oh, sitting at home watching Netflix, you know, because I just don't want to work. I don't like working, but I need money now to pay my bills and pay for my Netflix subscription. Don't put that in, you won't get a job. If you got a gap, say you took some time out to explore, you know, and to help with family. Even if I was helping with family chores and making sure my family were comfortable, and that's where I got a gap. But if you can try and avoid a gap, please do, because people don't like gappy things, really. Any questions about any of this?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. I can't hear her.
Can you hear me? I have a question.
Yes. Yes, Claire.
So if my last job maybe was last year, somewhere in May, and I'm applying for the job like right now.
Yeah.
What should I write between May and right now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Claire. What were you doing between that time?
No, I'm asking, my last job maybe was in May last year.
What were you doing? But what were you doing from May to now? They need to know what you were doing. So what were you doing?
May up to now.
Yeah. So what would you put down? So what would you? Were you looking after children because you were pregnant? Were you looking after family members? Were you traveling the world? Which you're allowed to. You took some time out traveling. So what were you doing? So you need to put that gap on what you were doing. Were you doing voluntary work? So you need to put something positive. Don't put nothing negative on it. No one likes a negative CV. So if you were doing nothing, because you don't fancy doing it, try and put something in it. They're not going to check it. They're not going to ring your mom and dad and say, did she do this? just put down, look, I took a year out because it was COVID. That took me time to, go and explore my hobbies, or I went to do voluntary work, or I looked after my family members so they can look for jobs. We've done that. Me and Harsha together. I've left jobs to go and study and get myself mentally better. I used to go gym, I worked out, and I wanted to be fully prepared and positive for work. And we've done stuff like that. But and we can put it on our CV. I've never really needed to put it on my CV. I've had a couple of years out. I've said I was looking after my children. I was on maternity. So you fill the gap with something positive for the reason why you were out of work, okay? And trust me, you can find anything. Like I said, if you can't find anything, so you were exploring, even if you haven't been out of Kenya, they're not even going to check. They're not going to check your passport if you've been out to Canada and stuff. Just say, I was exploring Kenya. Like, I live in Kenya. I wanted to, like, I know I'm coming to the UK. I wanted to explore and travel Kenya before I moved to the UK. I wanted to see my homeland. You can use that as well. But if they ask you, how did it go? Make sure you know how you went. Say, yeah, I did this. I did that. Don't say, I don't know. I don't actually know where I went. Make sure you kind of got a story. Okay.
Okay.
Did that answer it?
I have a question.
Yes,
In
Grace.
the education experience, education history, maybe you have a gap, of maybe 2 years. Like maybe you did let me say Form 4, then you repeated. Do you have to indicate it like?
No, you can have gaps in your you can have gaps in anything. You can have gaps in education and experience as long as it's fulfilled with something. So say, for example, Grace, you went to school till you were 16. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Around 22.
Oh, you're so young. Oh my God. So I'd love to be 22 again. So say you were 16 and you went straight to work. And then at 20, you wanted to go studying again. You got 4 years education. It doesn't matter, because in them 4 years you were working or you were doing other stuff, as long as there's no gaps in between. So when me and Harsha look at CV, we're like, okay, they've only worked for 2 years, but they left school 6 years ago. So what were they doing? Then I will look down at your education and think, oh, they were actually studying the degree. And I was thinking, okay, there's still another year gap. If you haven't explained it, it will come up in your interview. They will say, you've got a gap. You've got a gap. What were you doing? And then you will say, oh, I was doing this, put it down. If you still got a gap, I will look down. And if you said just if you've put in your hobbies, just say you did put hobbies. It's like, I took a year out between the ages of 16 and 17 because I just didn't want to study no more. And I didn't know what I wanted to do for work. And I took time out to find me and find out what I wanted to do before I jumped into working life. You've explained it. So it's not going to be an issue. You can mix and match to fill up your gaps, okay? They want a 10-year history of you or less if you can, like 16 to 22. They need to make sure you were doing something productive. But even writing down, I just took a year out just because when I left school, I was fed up of education. I just wanted some time out. And I sat at home and then I realized, you know what? I got this youth work job a year later and I thought, you know what? This is what I want to do, because I don't know what I want to do at 16. A lot of people don't. Sometimes you're forced to go to uni, and I don't want to go to uni because I don't want to spend 4 years doing a qualification I don't want to do. So I took time out. So it's okay. Explain it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How about if you are self-employed? That's
fine. Put it down. Put down self-employed.
Okay.
Make sure it's legal.
Yes.
Our self-employed hustling would not cut it. Yeah, it might be a good job to self-hustle, but like put down that you was like self-employed and you did, even if it's something small, you did newspaper delivery. I don't know. I did newspaper delivery, self-employed. That shows initiative that you, instead of sitting there, not got a job, you went and tried to be self-employed for a bit and then explain why you've gone back into working world. Why have you left your self-employed job? You don't need to have left. I'm a director now of a company. If I look for a job, I'm saying, yeah, I've still got my company. I just want more skills and experience and I want this job as well. They might be happy for you to have both. It doesn't matter. If you're allowed to do it, you can do it. Because that shows that you've got your own thing going on and you're looking for another job because you're only working a few hours for your company. You want something else. So you can be self-employed. That shows me good initiative that you got up and done something. Okay, brilliant questions, by the way. Yeah, keep them coming. That's what we're here for. CV tips, right? Employers, like especially me and Harsha can tell you this week how many CVs we get all the time. I think we've got 600 CVs sitting in our email account, and we got other things to do as well. We got 600, and people are sending us messages on our YouTube and our Facebook saying, Sophie, Harsha, I've sent you my CV 3 times. And I'll reply back saying, I never looked at it the first time. Give me a chance to look at the first one before you send it again. We need to look at who is relevant, right? And they need to quickly decide. We go through it quickly. We go through these and we pick out something that sticks out to us, thinking, oh, that looks interesting. We click that one. So we would go through all of them, but we click the ones that stick out. That's the one they want to interview you. So tell me some tips that you think will make your CV stand out for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. When writing a CV is very important. So what would you think of, like, you know, if Sophie, I sent my CV to Sophie, Harsha or Josepha, they're going to click on it. What will make them think, you know what, I like this CV. So what do you think you can put on your CV? I've told you some stuff already, and there's other stuff as well. Don't be shy, not all at once. Come on. Even if your answer's wrong, I'd rather have a wrong answer than no answer. So what do you think is important for a CV? What do you think, you know, like me and Josepha and Harsha and any recruiter out there would look at? Harsha, do you want to start one?
Something, yeah. Like, you know, some recruitment companies or agencies or even employers use the software to go through CVs. So it's not software. I mean, it's best to put keywords which are relevant to the job that you apply. If you're applying for a care job, always put many keywords as possible from your previous work experience regarding the care work that you've done. Yes. I'm sure Sophie can give some examples about
yes, for sure.
Keywords.
That's a brilliant one, Harsha, actually. You know, I'm not that fancy yet. We're not that fancy, me and Harsha, right? We actually are manually old school, but there is people like massive recruitment industry companies like H1 Healthcare or something like that, or NHS, let's say the NHS, the biggest recruitment one out there. They ain't going to go through 1,000 CVs a week. That's how much they are getting from all over the world. So they would have a tracking system. They would put keywords in there, like say that you apply for a nursing job, they would look for NMC registration, for example. That will bring up everybody's CV that's got that highlighted word. And they know all these people have potentially got NMC registration. So they will, even if you've got really good things, if you haven't put a certain keyword in that can bring your CV to the top, your CV is going to be chucked in the bin without even knowing. So if you've got that membership, remember I was telling you about, put that in. HR membership. Put that in, because I would type in the word membership, see if anybody's got any kind of memberships that would help the company, because I want that person to work for me. Put down, you know, just some positive words. So that's a brilliant one, Harsha. Anything else? Keep CV to 2 pages. I'm sure if Joseph opened up your CV and it was 20 pages long, I'm sure he'll click the X button and put it off, because he has no time for that as someone as a busy manager. So keep your CV to 2 pages. Come on, me and Harsha can't get the answers as recruiters. That's cheating. So I want some more answers. Don't worry if he's wrong. We're not going to tell you off. We're not here to tell you off. We're here to help. You're all nervous. Okay, what I'll do is I'll give you some of it. It's okay. I'll let you off this time because you're like a good team. Right. So we have research the company and the job before you start the CV, because you want to hit that straight away. So if you're applying for a support work, when I open up your CV, the first line I want to see is support worker, somewhere on your CV that they go, oh, they got experience, or a care home, something to show that you got relevant experience. We want to see that wording a bit out. choose the right CV to fit your style. Remember, I told you about the 3 CVs: chronological, the teacher one, and the skills one. Choose the right CV. Wrong CV, you will not potentially get the job because you're not hitting it right. Use clear font. Don't use scripted writing. Don't use colorful pinks and it's not a gay pride CV. It's a professional CV. Black writing. Okay. Clear. 12 is okay. 11 might be okay as well if you got too much, but font size 12, Arial narrow, Times New Roman. Them 3 are the best ones. I use Arial narrow and Arial a lot. I use it as size 11.5. But if I want it, if I'm subcategorizing it, I make the top line a bit bigger, so I might put that as 12, then put it down as 11 so you can see the difference. But it's nice and tidy, okay? Always use the same style throughout, because if I looked at your CV and it started off black in Arial, then I'm reading down and it's ended up in green and Times New Roman, that means that you altered your CV, but you forgot to alter your font. So make sure you check it all, like highlight it all, click the font button and change it to 1. That's all you have to do at the end of it. Because I've done it where I've messed around with the CV and I'm thinking, I forgot what I used. Just highlight it all just to make sure. I always do that at the end of my work. Break the information up to make it easier. So if you've got your CV and you're writing something like support worker, don't put next to it the address, don't put next to it all the qualifications, break it down. So support worker, underneath it in little writing in italic, you can write the address down. Underneath that, put the date that you worked it. Underneath that, bullet point it and your job spec. Remember the job spec? Put down what you have done. That will meet it, because they want to see it clear, because their eyes are going to go over it quickly. So yeah, they've got it. I need to interview them. And that's where they will go more into detail. 2 sides of A4. What Harsha said was brilliant. I haven't got Harsha's key tracking system. That's a brilliant one, Harsha. Keywords, it's really important. Be clear in your CV. Very, very important. Don't be like, oh, I'm a support worker because I like it and I like, I want to do it. I've got no experience in it. I don't care. We don't want your life story on a CV. We want it to be clear. So, no, the personal care, we've done personal care with disabilities aged 16 to 84. One clear line. I work with people with mental health, learning disabilities, and physical disabilities. That's another line. It's bullet points, quick bullet points. Okay. Your life story will be in your covering letter. Okay, which we'll go through later. Match words. So that's what I've got it on here. Match words. That's what Harsha said. Match your words. Make sure it's it meets the job description. Because if you meet the job description, more than likely that's the ATS tracking system that they're using. Double check your grammar and spelling. I couldn't spell volunteer. If I sent that off, I would have been embarrassed. That I'm going for a manager job, I can't even spell a word. So always check your spelling and grammar. You should have an ABC, change it to UK, get it checked. If in doubt, check it, send it to somebody else. Always send a covering letter with your CV, always. Make it personal. Saying, if you know the HR person's name, saying, hi, Mandy, I'm actively seeking a job within your company. I've read the job description and I feel that I meet your needs for this job. This is why. Write it down. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Always send that covering letter to make it personal. And remember to change the top bit. So if you're applying for a support worker job, don't use your last covering letter that said engineer. I know you just took another CV. So, these little things really matters, because that shows carelessness and we won't be interested. Or we will think, what, this person's applied for other jobs, are just going for this job. Okay. Any questions about that? No, okay. So how to secure a...
I have a question.
Yes, Caroline.
So it means every job has to be, you have to edit your CV according to that job, and
yes,
your cover letter according to that. Okay.
Okay, yeah, right. What I tend to do, I'll give you a tip, Caroline. Get an A4 Word document, put a log on it. Oh, I'm actually going to go through this now. I've just answered your question, but I'm going to tell you now anyway. Write down jobs, on Indeed, whatever you're going, monster.co.uk. Harsha, make a note that we'll go through some UK sites with them so they know where to look for jobs. Highlight the jobs.
That's on Thursday, I think. I'm going to talk about how to apply for jobs anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. So Harsha's going to cover this more in detail. Say, for example, on Indeed, I've got 20 support worker jobs. And they're all generic. You can send the same CV to them because it's the same information. It's a support worker one. But if it's more intense job, like you're going for a registered manager's job, you need to make it more personal because you're going for a manager's job. You're competing with other managers. But if it's just a basic office admin, you can keep it quite generic. Just alter the wording. Like if they've used office administrator, change it to office administrator. If they've used office assistant, just change the wording slightly just to make it personal. So maybe one word, but some of them, I'm so bored of changing my CV sometimes. I'm so bored of it. It's like, oh my God. Sometimes it puts you off the job. It can. That's why it's always good once a week, group everything. At the end of the week, say, okay, I'm going to apply for this with this CV and write down which CV you've used. So you can name it something like Caroline, support worker CV, Caroline, registered manager CV. So you've got different ones. So do you know when that job comes back to you and says, Caroline, I want to interview you for the support working job. You'll be like, okay, scope disabilities, support worker, I'm going to pick up my CV. Okay, I sent that one. And that's how you refer it back to the job. Okay. So I've got 20 CVs. I've got one for trainer. I've got one for manager. I've got one for support work. I've got loads. I think Harsha has got 3.
Yeah, 3 because I made one just for this support job. And then I got my IT one. And then I've got a recruitment consultant CV as well. Even though I haven't used, I'm not using it anything. I'm not applying for real jobs at the moment. I just made it. I keep it up to date anyway.
Yes.
Otherwise, sometimes I might forget things. Yes. So I keep it up to date all the time.
Harsha made a very good point there. Keep it up to date and don't delete them because say, for example, you applied for a job with the NHS and then you got a job somewhere else. And then you hated that job and you left it and you apply for the NHS again, don't send them a different CV because I might think, hang on, I noticed, didn't Caroline apply for a job like a few months ago? And they might look at that CV and look at this and thinking, whoa, we're so different. So remember what you applied for, okay? Because you can't blag, like I noticed that sometimes because some names stick, I'm thinking, I've heard of this person before, Harsha. And we look at it thinking, the CV is different. Is it the same person? And then we realize the same person, but the changes. So be very careful. That will get you not in trouble. That will not give you the job. If it's 2 years later, it's okay. But if it's like 6 months, it will be. So how would you secure an interview? Think of some of the things I've told you again and some of the stuff I've mentioned. Is there anything that you think that you've learned already from today that can secure you that interview? You lot are a shy bunch today. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll give you another one. I'm too good to you today, I'll tell you. Right, so take your time to write that killer CV. Take your time, especially your first CV. Take your time on it and save a lot of CVs and make sure you know what you do with it. When you write a good CV, trust me, it will work. Build a great relationship with your recruiter. If you have recruitment agencies, like we're a recruitment agency at the moment, Joseph might know other recruitment agencies, build that link with them because you're in their mind. If you're in their mind, if they have a job, they might think, oh, Harsha, I've got a job going, they need a male support worker. You remember Simon? He rang me yesterday. I mean, he's in my mind. Let's ring Simon because he's interested still. He wants it. Let's ring him because he's made that relationship with me. Yes, so build a relationship with agency workers. Don't do it too much with companies because you don't want to seem desperate. It's more with agencies you do this with. Just ring them. We ring agencies. Harsha rings agencies. Our recruitment agencies. What every day? He's like, hi, Lorna. It's me again. And she's like, because he's making that link. Then she rings him saying, you know what, Harsha, I've got shifts for you, for your staff. That's how you get in, okay? Make that link. And sometimes Harsh like, I don't want to ring again today, but he has to do it for you guys. Like, and he rings them saying, and he has a nice conversation. Oh, how's the weather? Or did you get your hair done? You know, he's flirting with them just to get you these shifts. So we do it for you guys. You need to do it back with the recruiter. Oh, how's the kids? How's things? You know, if you got that relationship, you can. And trust me, you'll be at the top of the list for agency work. Apply for jobs that reflect your skills. Remember, it doesn't matter which area you're from. Obtain that skills and put it in the other one. If you're from engineering, apply your engineering to a care job. I'm just saying these two because they're just cropping up. But if you've got office skills, apply it to your engineering job. Mix and match, but just alter your wording. Good wording, look online. Thesaurus, brilliant tool. If you haven't got the right professional wording, put the word in to a thesaurus. They will alter it, but make sure it makes sense. Yeah, don't use a thesaurus word that's really big and it doesn't make sense to your sentence. Because I know you've used the thesaurus. You do it for exams, but like be careful with it, okay? Secure meaningful testimonies. By that I mean your references. Make sure your references are gonna big you up. They are your little fan base. Then you say, yes, you know what, I'm pro Grace. Yeah, you know, everything's good about you. So make sure you get good references. A killer covering letter, which we will cover. That is where they will read it. If they think your CV is good, let me see what she's about, or let me see what he's about. Be organized. That's what I was talking about, the log. Make sure you're clear with what you do. You don't want a job to ring you and say, I've got an interview for the support worker role, and you're like, oh, sorry, and I'm calling from Lifeways. Like, oh, sorry, which job? They'll be like, you applied to me. You're like, what do you mean, which job? I just told you the name of the company. I told you the job, so how do you not know who I am? Yeah. If you're ever in that situation, say, you know, pretend that you know. Say, oh, so sorry, who is it? Oh, it's Joyce from Lifeways. We've got a job for you. Oh, brilliant. Say, thank you so much. Here, send the details through. Even if you blag it like that, don't make them look like you don't know what job you applied for. Yeah. When they send you that email, look at your log and think, oh yes, I applied for that job. I've done it so many times. I once went into an interview for a job, and I thought it was a different interview. So there was two companies the same, one called Scope, one called Care Scope. And I mixed it, but I still got the job. But I was so lucky because I realized later, like, oh my God, I applied for the wrong job. So be very careful because it can't always work out that way. I've used Roman word here on purpose. Don't be a beg. Does anybody know what that means? Joseph knows, I think. Don't beg for a job.
Actually, not appearing so desperate.
Yes. Do not ring up companies. Do not ring up the NHS every day saying, have you looked at my CV? Have I got the job? How did my interview go? Have I got a job? I will get to the stage. I'm not going to even answer your call. I don't want someone desperate like that. Even though you want the job, sometimes I'm anxious at home thinking, I don't think I got the job. And I'm so tempted. I really want to know, but just don't do it. One, you can do one.
Actually, let me make also a point.
Yeah.
Do not appear as though you're bothering the agency or the employer. When you appear that way, actually you kill somebody's spirit, and you know somebody throws off their hands.
That's it.
And you'll be kept waiting.
Absolutely, Joseph. Like with companies, direct companies, do not do it. Once is fine. After, like, you know, I did it the other day just to say, I had an interview and it's been about a week and I've heard. I just said hi, just chasing up, like, was the interview okay? One time is fine. And they replied back to me. I did it the other day. They replied back saying, oh, we left you a voicemail. So once is okay, just in case I did. I never got that voicemail. And they said in that voicemail, they told me to call them because I've been successful. So just one time, but if you ring it every day, they're gonna put you off. But recruitment agencies, it's the way you do it. If you rang Harsha every day saying, have you got a job for me today? You got a job for me? Harsha can be like, no, piss off. You know, but you won't say it to you. You'd be like, oh no, look, we're really busy. When I got a job, you put it down. If you ring Harsha, say, hi Harsha, how you doing? How's the kids? You know, I'm available for work this week. I've got 3 days off. Just thought I'd let you know. You've done it nicely. Harsha's thinking, okay, because you look more personal. So I've got 3 days off. I thought I'd let you know. We've got someone that does that with us once a week, and she's always at the top of my list because she's so nice in her approach. It makes a difference, okay? But yeah, get your CV checked by anybody. Josephat might know people, so come to Josephat. You know, is a really good source for you guys. He might know people. If he doesn't, he can potentially point you in the right direction. Friends and family that are higher up than you, managers. If you got any friends that are in management position, get them to check your CV. They are the best people. All my niece and nephews come to me. I check over all the CVs, and majority of them have got jobs from it. It's also good to get them to check it so that they can see if there's anything wrong. I'm just going to go through the last thing now, is social media. Social media is a must these days. Lots of recruiters and companies will look at social media for two reasons. One is to source you guys from it. They might see you there and think, oh, you know, Joyce has just posted something. Let me look at her. Oh, she's looking for a job. I'm going to passively ask her if she wants a job with our company. That's how recruiters look for people, passively. And they might approach you and say, oh, I've got a job, £30,000. You're like, whoa, I'm interested. Be careful of scams. Harsha will go through that on a day, but real companies might use it as a talent. We do use it as talent sourcing. The other way they would use it is to check you as a person. They would do a screening check on your social media. If they don't like what they see, you would not get the job. And they don't tell you to do this. In 2017, 36% of UK employers rejected a candidate based on their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn profiles because there was something on it that was wrong, which I'm going to tell you about. Now everybody's looking. I'm a bit of a detective. Me and Harsha is. We look on social media all the time at people's stuff. Josepha, I know everything about you. Okay, that's how it is. And people would do it with us. You would look at the company to see, are they legal? Are they legit? I'm sure Joseph knows a lot about us because he wants to make sure he uses a legit company. They are the right people. We do the same back. Always be a detective and do your research on a company. So who conducts these screenings? They can be done by either the employer or a screening agency or a bit of both. They might, like me and Harsha, might not have the time to do so many the bigger we get. So we might outsource somebody, give them your details, say, go and do a screening check on this and tell me what you find. Normally they will look at it after you've been, when you've done the interview, before they say yes to you, they will go and do it there. They won't say to you, you've got the job and then do it. They will do it before they give you the job, just to make sure. Okay. Oops, come backwards. Right. Many companies also hire like firms, like I said, to check you out. So be very careful. So what you need to do, what is considered bad behavior? That's what we need to know. Do you know what would be classed as bad behavior on your social media? Like what would put an employer off hiring you? What do you think?
Racism.
Yes, absolutely. Even if it's to your friend as a joke, and mind my language, I'm going to say for me, I'm saying, even if I said to my friend, my best friend, you bloody packy, that's racist. They don't know that's my friend. It's wrong. My friend might love the fact that I say that, but it's wrong. So don't write anything that they can see. And even here, if people hear this, they might tell your company as well. So be very careful. Anything else? It's okay if you don't. Lies. Do not lie about your CV. You know your LinkedIn page, if you put down your LinkedIn CV and you've sent me a CV, they might look at it. If you've got, like Caroline said, do I have to do more CVs? Yes. If you do more CVs, I don't even have a LinkedIn. I don't put a LinkedIn on my account because my CVs are all different. I've not got a LinkedIn account. I don't want to get caught for anything. But if you are going to stay in one particular area and you are all perfect, then have your LinkedIn account. So be very careful. Or if you do get the job and you're staying in it, then put your LinkedIn profile up because it matches. It doesn't matter who it matches. You're not sending CVs out, but people can look at you then. So only activate it when you don't need it. But if you think, oh, my LinkedIn's going to get me in trouble, just deactivate it for a bit, okay? Or keep yours, you can keep the job the same, but just by altering your job spec, it's not going to get you in trouble, okay? And by altering your name, it's just the dates, your dates on there, and the company. Don't put the company if you don't need to. Don't write anything bad about your last employer, okay? Even if you hate them and you walked out. So if you work for the NHS, don't write on your thing, oh, fucking hate the NHS, they're a bunch of racist cowards, I hate them, I never work for them. Don't write anything like that, because if your new employer sees that you are slagging off your old company, they don't want to hire you, okay? If you've had a bad day, you don't need to tell the whole world you had a bad day, okay? Inappropriate language. A couple of swears here and there is not going to get in trouble. That's British slang. I went through it, but really inappropriate language, like, you know, radicalization language, like racism language, not cool at all. So stay away from it. Any illegal or offensive behavior. Don't be happy that you got arrested. Say, oh, I got arrested today. I was drinking all night, clubbing with my friends, and I got arrested and I was in the prison. I don't want you for my company. I don't want you to represent my company because you're all over social media being proud that you got arrested. So be very careful with what you post, okay? Offensive behavior towards other people. If you're involved in any gangs, or someone tags you in a post, tell them, sorry, untag me from this post. If it's got nothing to do with you, untag you from this post, because I can follow tags. Oh, this person's got tagged. Let me see. If it's an offensive thing that can get you in trouble, why have they tagged you in that post for? And if you had nothing to do with you, why have you not untagged yourself? So ask people to untag you. Do not tag yourself back, okay? So things that you can do so you don't lose this job. Anything from when you had a social media account, go back into it all. Look at everything. I know it might be boring. Look at everything and delete anything, because you might have said something at the age of 16 innocently, which will be offensive now. And that has happened a lot. That has happened. Loads of people have lost their jobs from something they wrote many years ago. And it's sometimes, if it's celebrities, it's on the news that they said something racist, or they were involved in a racist, a march that was racism. So get rid of that. Also, if you're taking a day off work, saying I'm really poorly, and then you put on your Facebook message, I'm going out clubbing tonight, you will get sacked. Because if someone's taking days off annual leave, I will look at their Facebook, because they always like to do a Snapchat or something, and they're out. So how can you be poorly when you just gone out clubbing? So be careful of these things. Delete anything you don't need. Make it nice and clean. Just delete anything. If you don't want to delete anything, keep your account private. It's not hard. You don't need to show the whole world that you don't know something about your life if you don't want them to know. And this is the best one. Do a Google search. Go into Google, type your name in. I type in Sophia, Smara Karama, Sophia, Sam. I see what's on there. I did it on Harsha once. I said, Harsha, I can see your Facebook account. I can see where you're working. Harsha put it on private because he didn't want certain people to know certain things about him. I can see where you live, Harsha. That means everybody knows you live in this area. Be careful. We don't want people to know where you live or what you're doing. So Harsha's put certain things on thingy, and I'm very for that as well. Like, put things on private. Just have it for your friends and family, not for the whole world if you want a proper job. Also, moving forward, think about things that you're going to post. Think about the long-term consequences of that newsfeed popping up. Remember, sometimes on the Facebook, a newsfeed comes up after 2 years. Things like that can happen. And make sure you know who's added to your accounts. Don't be adding HR to your Snapchat if you don't want them to know what you're doing. Any questions about anything, guys? Anything at all? I'm hoping that has helped you guys today. I'm so sorry I had to rush it a little bit at the end, but I really wanted to go into it as much detail as possible, and I'm hoping you got at least one thing from today. But feel free now to ask anything you like, or whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah, Joan?
Yes, it's about gapping, the gaps you might have in between your experience, maybe.
Yeah.
If you work with maybe with a clinic or a hospital, and you follow up, and maybe it has been like a year. Within that year, it's a gap, because if you don't get any recommendation to show that you are there, how can you go about it if you didn't live in good terms?
The first thing I do, I leave a lot of jobs. I'm not gonna lie, I've left a lot of jobs on bad terms. I'm very short. That's why I got my own business now, because I can't leave my own business, because it does happen. Sometimes management are not nice, they don't treat you nice, and you can't hand your resignation in and spend another 4 weeks getting bullied or being in that situation. I totally get it, right? First of all, if you're going to put that job down and it's your last one, try and get a reference for it, because they would ask for your last one. If they're not gonna, and you cannot get no one to give you a reference, you can't put it down. I don't know how the rules are in Kenya, but in England, you can't give a bad review, but they can say certain things. They would say, would you re-employ this person? That is a question on everybody's. We will put down no. From that no, we know that something happened. We can't ask what happened unless they tell us on the phone, but they can, or disciplinaries. If you were, they have put down yes. So if you got anything on your criminal record, you have to be honest anyway. But if you fell out and you really can't find anybody, try and fill it up with something else, because you know you've left that job because it wasn't good. So try and fill it up with something else. Before you leave, try and get another job. So it doesn't matter then, because your last two references can be your previous employer and a family friend. And then you can tell them, you know, in a company, if you had like your hospital job and you managed to get another job, and they say, I want two references, just say, look, the hospital job I had 3 years ago, we fell out because she was bullying me and I had no way out. So I had to quit because for my own mental health. You can say that, and some companies will understand that. So even if they said, okay, let me just do a reference, if they've done a reference check on you and they said you left, they know because you've told them. So you need to just see if you should tell them or not. If you've left and told them to fuck off, you know, I hate you and I don't need you, and then you're ringing them saying, oh, please give me it might not work. But if you left because of your mental health or something, and you felt like you was getting bullied and you've got confirmation, send them an email saying, you know, I don't know how it works in Kenya. You can say, look, I'm resigning due to the fact that I felt like I wasn't getting any support and I felt being bullied by the manager. You've got that proof for your next job. Say, look, this is what happened. I've got proof. I've sent an email. I'll give you the email if you need it. So they know you left for that reason. So I tried to sort it out with them. They didn't. I've got my proof. It won't detriment you. Okay? Okay. I think I finished at a good timing. I'm really happy. Josepha, Harsha, got anything to say before?
No, I'm going to talk about it. It's a bit more tomorrow. Like, you know, what not to add to CVs and how to like spot real jobs and fake jobs. So I'll speak about it tomorrow.
What I want you guys to do is, from your CV that I told you to do on Friday, keep that one, do a save as, everything I've told you today, put it on your CV and alter it, because you're going to do the same tomorrow. You're going to do the same Wednesday, because we're going to talk about it throughout things. By Thursday, I want you to see your first CV to your day 4 to see the difference. That is our aim. Even if you change one thing and try your CV and you look at jobs then, and let's see how it goes, okay? I'm going to pass it to Joseph now to finish off the session before he tells me off for talking anymore. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for today's session. Actually, personally, I've learned a lot in this, and this is also shaping on how we are going to be relating to our candidates, and as we are pointing them out to different employers. Allow me to say this to our candidates who are present here today. We are not performing any magic, and we are not magicians in this. And as I told you before, we are not giving people jobs. We don't have them. We are here with you in Kenya. However, what we are doing is pointing you to the right direction. We have a team here, competent team here, that is doing job searches for you. And also we are in communication with individuals, and also authentic individuals, that is, and also employment agencies based in the UK, and also employers based in the UK that we are constantly engaging on your behalf. Now, we can only do so much. We can only do so much, but there are things that we cannot do. We can't give you the job, but there is also something that you must do. You must sell yourself. And what we must do and what we are doing is to prepare you, to have you prepared for these jobs that will be pointing you towards. Sophia, I must congratulate you for today's session, because with what you've just shared, I mean, how to do the CV, how to do the cover letter, personal presentation determines how whether one gets, number one, a response.
Yes.
At least a response, and it also has a great weight on determining whether a person is going to get an interview. You remember Mr. Samuel here, and even Nina here, and we have some people that we also working with in the UK. We are told, I mean, responses that we get from some employers is that they get so many. Yes, we're going to give you audience, we're going to give your people, I mean, a chance. But remember that we are getting applications from all over Africa. We're getting from Zimbabwe, we're getting from Sierra Leone, we're getting from Ghana. Actually, Ghana and Nigeria, majorly, they're getting applications from there. Now, they're not going to discriminate, because we've told them that we are running this organization, Global Health and Immigration Consultancy, and our people will be doing the application. Kindly consider them. They are equal, I mean, they give everybody equal opportunities, Nigerians, Tanzanians. So what you must do is to put yourself above the rest. That is why I began by saying that we are not performing any magic here, and we are not magicians. So with these instructions that we are being given, and I'm talking like this because of, I think, a few experiences that we've had with people. You're telling somebody, do your CV this, make it 2 pages or 1 page, because that is the instructions that we've been given. Make your cover letter. You get somebody is attaching 500 documents or 50 documents. CV 6 pages. Cover letter 2 pages, without even editing. Then 2 weeks later, somebody calls, when am I doing the interview? Definitely such a document, we are not going to even forward it anywhere. It will end up here in Nairobi in our office. We are not going to forward it anywhere. Asha and Sophia, what they told me, I don't know if I'm correct in
you
this.
are right. It's like even in business now, Joseph approached us. He did not ring me every day and say, Sophie, where are you? Sophie, come help me, come help me, come help me. He never stressed me at all. We had a nice conversation, and it made me and Harsha feel comfortable with Joseph and Joseph with us. We've got such a fantastic business relationship at the moment that I've even said to Joseph, if we can help in any way possible, we've got a recruitment firm in Scotland. By the time people come over here, we might open up to Wales. We're thinking about, like, we've told Joseph our plans, and I said to Joseph, we would like to keep this long relationship with you guys. So if any of you come on student visas and you're in Scotland, I can get you a care job, because Joseph will give me your name. It won't be a sponsorship unless the company asks for it, but I'm telling you now, if you've got a care job and you're in the UK, you can convince them to give you a sponsorship. I'm telling you now, people that are saying no are saying yes, as long as you're here. So Joseph has got that link with us already, and we're working so hard in the UK, and we are getting jobs. We've secured some big contracts already. And so Joseph is working day in, day out to make what he can. as much as he can, and he's doing it from the kindness of his heart. He doesn't need to, because he's doing certain things. So take advantage of the links that you're making with people as well. That's why we're saying link networking is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, sure. Then what I must also mention, we are running 2 companies here. That is Global Health and Immigration Consultancy that is doing this work. We also have International Institute for Research and Cultural Development that is of this. Then also we are running a non-profit that is Center for Africa Volunteers. And now about the experience. We've done a lot of voluntary work, and I'll be inviting our candidates actually when about the experiences. And we've been working with charity homes, orphanages here, homes of the elderly. We've been feeding street families here. We've been working with prisons here in Nairobi. So I think we're going to be inviting most of our applicants to some of these charity jobs. It to be very significant in adding to your experience in terms of care work, charity work. Just showing that you're compassionate enough and you care about people. Putting humanity above everyone else, I think is one of the greatest gateway through which you're going to be advantaged over other applicants that will be struggling, to beat or to compete when we are making these applications. So thank you so much, and with much love again.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. So nice to spend it with you all. Samuel, you got a date with 16 of us today. 2 of us from the UK. So brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. It's been fun today. I hope it's really helping you guys and you're enjoying it. And I see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And for Harsh has got a fantastic session for you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So we will see you tomorrow, guys. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.